What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a dreadful episode of the Talk of the Tundra as the Packers lose in embarrassing fashion to the Washington Commanders 23-21. Joining me today for what is going to be a simply joyful podcast talking about that game is Ty. Ty, how you doing?
I'm good, Numac. I only say that I'm good. Milwaukee Bucks are 2-0. We
Go Bucks.
unfortunately they don't play again till Wednesday, so I guess I have to sit here and think about this for a while. But this is the Scott's Tots of Tot episodes. Just depressing. Or maybe the Packers game was the Scott's Tot of Tot episodes. I don't think we're going to be that embarrassing, at least not as embarrassing as Green Bay, but. Yeah, I mean they're not good. They're bad. They're a bad football team, and I think we've sat here and been a little too generous, saying if they figure this out, if they figure that out, if they can just get going. It's week 7. They're 3-4. They've beaten 3 very bad teams. They've lost to some other bad teams. Almost lost to Bailey Zappi in Lambeau. So yeah, I just think I think I've kind of accepted it now. The uncomfortable and I think kind of really dispiriting part is, and I don't want to do this before we talk about the game too much,
Yep.
but the post this year outlook is not brighter, which is the real, I think.
Yep.
I think a bad season happens, but it's a bad spot right now for the Packers.
Yeah, absolutely. We were looking to come into this week to snap that losing streak the Packers are on, now losing 3 in a row, and going into the Buffalo Bills next week, who are on bye this week. So they've had a week of rest and game planning for a bad team. So
Is that in Buffalo too?
It sure is.
Holy moly!
It's Sunday Night Football, baby.
Oh no!
It's been bad. Looking ahead to following years, touching on it briefly. I went to go to Spotrac to pull up Rodgers' contract, so we can talk about that. He's the number 3rd ranked or trending player on Spotrac right now. It's great.
I was going to say this for later, but while we're talking about it, because this needs to be a whole discussion, and I'm not a cap expert, so I may have a lot of this wrong. Feel free to correct me. How did the Buccaneers get Brady on these 1 and 2 year deals? And I know they're expensive. They're not cheap, but they got basically the GOAT to come win a Super Bowl, and they never had to give him 4 years, $150 million down the line. I understand the Rodgers thing was more fractured, but Tom Brady had never played there before, and I just feel they were able to maneuver it so easily versus the Packers, and you could say the Broncos as well with Russell Wilson, who backed up the damn Brinks truck, and now both of these teams are sitting here like, oh, Jesus. What is the next 4 years going to be for us?
I guess just briefly as we go on to a tangent, it's because Brady didn't want the long-term contract. He just wanted to win. He just wanted to keep winning and winning and winning and winning.
Must be nice.
Must be nice, right? And so his contracts were big for a year, and he just re-signed another one. It's kind of like the LeBron deals. It's like LeBron deals.
And pre-Lakers.
Yep, exactly. So that's really all it is. But then it's grim because after the longer he stays on the Packers roster, the bigger the out gets for the Packers. It's a weirdly structured contract to where I think they deferred his salaries into signing bonuses for years to come. So his age, Rodgers' age 43 year, which is what his last contract is through, is 2026, and his cap hit that year is $53 million.
Yeah.
It's $60 million the year before. So Rodgers is going to be a big part of the Packers, whether he's on the team or not, for the next 4 years. But let's not go too gloom and doom.
Yeah, let's
such. But we got there fast. But this game didn't inspire any confidence in such. Packers started hot. Their first drive that they didn't score, but they looked like they were building towards something momentum wise. They were giving the ball to Aaron Jones. They got a first down, I think. They got 8 yards on Aaron Jones' pitch, 2 yards on a Aaron Jones run, and then the drive ultimately stopped when Alan Lazard couldn't catch a ball on a third down to advance the sticks. But the ensuing drive for the Packers led to a score, and that was what was really looking up. We forced a 3-and-out from the Commanders, went down, scored touchdown.
Beautiful play design, kind of Aaron Jones fakes the block and then backs up a couple steps, gets a little basically shovel pass and takes it in. Really nice. It was offensive ingenuity on display. I'm sure there was a lot more that we're going to talk about after that play, right?
I'm sure, right? That it's definitely coming. Not this week.
Oh,
And then punt for the Commanders, and then the muffed punt. Um, that's when Amari Rodgers fumbled it. So then the Commanders went and scored a field goal, and everything sort of fell off the wagon there. The
well,
really well
you
on
missed a pick
offensive
six in
wise,
there. You missed a pick six in there
right?
somewhere.
That
Was that before or after?
after. So
Okay, that was after.
the offense fell apart after that
Yes.
muff punt. Um, the Packers then go 3-and-out. They punt it away, give up or then Commanders on offense. Heineke throws a pick six to Devondre Campbell. Really, really great play. Like,
Went up and took that thing. That was a
yeah,
50-50 ball. You don't usually see
right.
linebackers win those against. I think it was a pass catching running back, but still.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a really great play. And like Packers fans are feeling good. Like
Yeah.
we were up 14-0 or 14-3 rather.
14-3. 14-3,
And
yeah.
then that's really where it started to fall apart on both sides of the ball. We were talking about it in the Discord, during Discord, GSPN.info, but the defense had been out there for a very long time. And like I think the interception for touchdown was 5 plays for 2 minutes, but then compound that with then that ensuing drive, 12 plays, 83 yards for a touchdown. And that's just kind of like that's a long time to be out there straight. And that's where the momentum really, really switched. Punt from the Packers, missed field goal from the Commanders, punt, end of half. And so we were hoping going into the halftime with a 14-10 lead that they'd be able to make some changes and do anything. They couldn't. The first half was eternal. I think it was like an hour 45 to play 30 minutes of football. Commanders come out in the second half, 5 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. Packers go 5 plays, 22 yards for a punt. Field goal from the Commanders on 16 plays, a 9-minute drive. Downs for the Packers when Romeo Doubs caught it and then didn't catch it on the fourth down. Field goal from the Commanders, the touchdown on the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pitch and catch from Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Really the only thing I was semi-happy about Rodgers seeing today. That was like the one pass I was even pleased to see him throw. Looked like vintage Rodgers.
Down to, and I know we talked about that. I think it was the Jets post game. He actually got out of the pocket and moved, and he hasn't done that. It feels like almost all season.
Nope,
I don't
absolutely not.
like it. Really stood out because he looked at the check down to Jones. It wasn't really there. It wouldn't have done that much. He said no and let his receivers make plays. And just watching that, I mean, obviously Aaron Jones is the best offensive player on the team, so it's a little different anyway.
Right.
How much would it help some of these younger, less skilled, less proven receivers if Rodgers did more of that and let them get some time to get open versus just trying to throw the slants, the line of scrimmage stuff all game? I mean, it clearly worked better. And I know you can't do it every play. I know Rodgers is 38, but
Yeah.
that out of pocket ingenuity really opened up that play. And it was
Right.
the one. I mean, the next best throw downfield was like a 10-yard slant to, was it Lazard or whoever? And oh my God, look at that. They threw downfield because it just doesn't happen. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's feeling horrendous. I'm on the Twitter machine looking at no, we'll get to that later. We'll keep doing box scores. The touchdown of Aaron Jones. We had a little life left. There's like 3.5 minutes left. We just needed the defense to get a stop. Defense couldn't get a stop, and we touched on this every week since like the Giants game. The defense is falling apart in the second half because they can't get off the field and they're on the field so much. Like in the second half, outside of the touchdown drive, the Packers offense was on the field for 5 minutes.
The touchdown drive was only 3 minutes.
Right.
They were on the touchdown. They were on the field for 8 minutes the whole half.
Yep. It's crazy. Like that's a big part of why we see these defensive breakdowns at the end of every game is because they're just so tired. I'm not to say that there's not individual players to blame here. Like Eric Stokes had a very bad game.
Yeah.
Like he got beat. He had a penalty. Like it wasn't a good game for Eric Stokes.
Not the first this season, unfortunately, from him.
No. Jair Alexander was pretty good in the first half, was not good in the second half.
Got torched by Scary Terry.
Absolutely torched. And like I'm not even gonna blame him for that touchdown that Scary Terry caught because Terry McLaurin,
Yeah.
because at that point it's a really greatly thrown ball and it's a really great catch. Like Jair wasn't 5-10 yards off of him; he was in his pocket, and it's just a greatly placed ball where he could put it where only Scary Terry could catch it. So it's not. I'm not like blaming Jair for that touchdown. It's just part of what happens. So what we will be upset about is the end of game reception by Terry McLaurin, where again, I shouldn't say I'd be really upset because it's more of the same thing. Just a greatly thrown ball by Taylor Heineke and catch by Terry McLaurin. Jair's in his pocket. McLaurin comes back to the ball after Kenny Clark was about to sack him, and that's the game. Throws it right at the end zone and right at the sideline. That's it.
Yeah, the I think we're gonna end up talking more about offense, but it's good to get some defense in semi early here.
Yep.
Packers defensive line, make a play, make one play. I mean, Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt had two nice chase down tackles after the Commanders already gained some yards, but great, those are good plays.
He hustles Devontae Wyatt, that's for sure.
He does. Commanders run 36 times for 166 yards.
Yep.
The Packers had 38 rushing yards. And we'll talk about not running enough, but the rushing wasn't that effective. They should have done it more anyway. Yep. But the offensive line was not winning in the trenches on run plays. Rodgers didn't get sacked, so it wasn't an unmitigated disaster like the line was last week. Turns out putting in good players is helpful for offensive line play. But Heineke is sacked one time for 3 yards. So the defensive line blows up one basically play. And, did he make some great throws under pressure? Yes, he did. But they're not getting to the quarterback. They're not stopping the rush. Jair definitely got beat by Scary Terry. Scary Terry, despite not being used enough because Carson Wentz is awful. Yeah. Is still a great receiver. So it's like, okay, he's going to win some. Winning 3, I mean, the touchdown, it was nothing Jair could really do, but still Terry won. And then a couple of first down plays on the last 2 drives that really put the Commanders, I won't say they made the difference because maybe they get a stop on Green Bay's offense, which again is scoring 1 or 2 touchdowns per week at most right now. Yep. But it helped them put the game away for sure. But the defensive line just continues to not move me or other linemen, and it's a big deal. I mean, Kenny Clark got unlucky with the holding penalty. I've never seen that before.
That was the stupidest call. How do you get a holding on a defensive lineman?
Not like you, and I think the obvious answer, right, is if he was in space trying to cover someone, he wasn't. It was on offensive linemen. I think that's just part of being a defensive lineman is holding offensive linemen and trying to throw them.
The refs sucked this game. That's all I'm going to say about it because it's terrible. No one wants to listen to ref talk, but they sucked.
Rasul Douglas touchdown got called back on a pretty ticky-tacky. Was it illegal contact penalty on Stokes down the field?
That's part of his bad game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who thought it was BS. I thought it was a light call, but
I'm part of the BS crew.
I think it is. I think it was a penalty. I mean, he did make contact with him. I think it was his right hand. He kind of grabbed the shoulder, and I think that's what the officials saw.
The issue is that's allowed at 5 yards, and it happened at 6.
I think it was a little more than 6, but I see your point.
Yeah, I'd
have to look at it and chart it. I thought it was pretty clearly downfield. Yeah. Whatever. Let's not talk about. Yeah.
It's just it was bad, and the Packers end up getting one last shot because they pushed Terry McLaurin out of bounds on that reception. End up having a great play to go to Sammy Watkins over the middle for a lot of yards.
Also, it was another 50. I mean, I thought it was going to be a pick at first. Shouts to Sammy because that was a 50-50 ball. He took it and made a huge play.
Yep. And what has been annoying me the last 3 games, or 2 games for sure, is whenever the Packers are in these, we're out of field goal range, but we need to score. The final plays of the game. I forget if we had one against the Jets last week. I'm pretty sure we did. But for sure, when Rodgers hurt his thumb in London,
the Giants game,
yeah, or even it might have been the Patriots game too at the end of regulation when they were trying to throw downfield and threw a backyard football, bunch of laterals kind of stuff. Rodgers can throw the ball far, no, hold on, accurately. We don't know yet because he's overthrowing receivers in the middle of the game. But if you
Yep.
have a 10-yard by 10-yard circle where there's a bunch of people, he can put the ball there. I refuse to believe that he's degenerated in his football play that much where he can't throw the ball 50 yards into the end zone area. It doesn't have to be at any particular player, just in the end zone. Like, I know he can still get the ball
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And why not just
it
throw the Hail
bewilders me.
Marys?
It bewilders me, and I got some pushback when I tweeted a similar thing of like he was literally the best Hail Mary thrower in football history. Even if the accuracy is not pinpoint anymore, it looks like it isn't. Spoiler alert.
Right.
Like it's still, I think, I mean, they almost executed the stupid,
I
music city
hate it.
miracle thing.
I hate it so much. It never works. And don't even come
No,
at me, people, with the Dolphins and Patriots one from like 3-4 years ago. That's a once in a lifetime type of play. And if
it's yeah,
Gronk's not
it's
back there playing freaking safety, they for sure don't get it. You had Gronk playing free safety for that play, and they were just
yeah,
like, "No, we'll just run around Rob Gronkowski because that's what you do." But like, it just doesn't make sense. Make your receivers go downfield and make a play for the ball. If Richard Rodgers can catch a Hail Mary ball, so can the rest of them.
yeah. I mean, I just put it up, and you don't know what's going to happen. I mean,
Right.
they get tipped. Who knows where the ball bounces around? I mean, there's more of a
Right.
chance. And but I got in response to that, like, oh, the way the offensive line is playing, he's not going to get it off. Again, Rodgers wasn't sacked.
He wasn't
Wasn't
sacked
under
today.
them. I
The
mean,
line played great.
it's hard to say they did not play great in the run game, and it's hard to say in the pass game because I mean they're designed to get it out so damn fast.
Right.
Who knows how they're actually? There was a couple of penalties, I think, but it wasn't atrocious. I mean, there weren't unblocked guys getting through left and right. I mean, you remove Royce Newman, and suddenly it's a capable offensive line, even without Bakhtiari, who was questionable, kind of a game time decision, doesn't end up playing. But Neiman at right tackle, where he practiced all week as part of a potential change. They insert rookie Zach Tom at left tackle, Elton Jenkins at left guard, and then is it Runyon at right guard?
I think that's what it was.
I think, and then Myers is still center. I don't think they moved him.
No, he was the same.
Yeah, so I thought it was good, and I think especially you get Bakhtiari in there at left tackle, and then just keep Tom as your sixth lineman. I think that's a good line, and get Royce Newman out of here. But yeah, I think they were holding up just fine. And typically, the way teams defend those things, they only rush like three half the time anyway. So I certainly think that group would have held up. I think you have a real chance to win there. I think the miracle play. I mean, again, it was a pretty good result for them, and it still looked stupid and wasn't all that close by the end of the game. They were at midfield. It's not like a crazy far Hail Mary.
No, God no. When I say I think the line played well, it's in comparison to the
Like 2 weeks ago or last week.
to the Jets living in the backfield last
Yes,
week.
100%.
Like
Yes.
there wasn't blown assignments to where Rodgers was getting hit and hurried. Like
Yep.
Rodgers really only got hit on that last drive when they were getting penalties against him, or like when he was drawing up the passer penalties. And like by definition, that means he wasn't getting pressured, right? Because he got hit after the ball was out.
Right. Yeah. He was getting hit as he threw, and it wasn't like a quick play. He was getting hit as he actually threw downfield.
Right.
When they kind of ran a real offense for those series.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, say what you want about the run game and the line. It was I wasn't watching that so much closely. I was so much in shock when they would actually run the ball this game.
Yeah. 12 carries total, by the way.
I'm gonna pull my hair out. It's just like, what do you? The line change worked. I'm glad it did, and so I'm glad that the coaches made the aggressive change to go away from Royce Newman and actually put in running at right guard. I really think going next week, if Bakhtiari's healthy, and Bakhtiari being not healthy is a major concern. He said to, I think it was Rob Domboski or Matt Schneedeman, that he's truly day to day with his knee. That's not good news. That is not good news. And if he's playing on it, it's just like, it's stress inducing. But if Bakhtiari plays, I think what you do is you put Bakhtiari obviously back at left tackle, and then move Tom to either right tackle or just play like the hot hand. If Neiman is playing better than Tom that week, go ahead.
Yeah.
But just like play the hot hand because they're both capable tackles. Why not just Pick
I
the
think
best one.
I think continuity is important for offensive line play, though. I'm fine if they just want to go with this group. I love Zach Tom. I
Yeah.
think listeners to this pod know that.
Yeah.
I think they have 5 capable guys. If they just want to keep that, I know that's a huge thing for offensive line. I also heard. I always get him confused with the tight end. Who's the Packers offensive coordinator?
Oh, Adam Senovich.
Yes, Stenovich. I heard he was in the O-line room this week and
That's what I
was
heard
part of
too.
these changes.
Yeah. Which is good. Like that's their job. Like the coordinators and the main head coach's job is to float around where the problems are.
It's a little concerning how many they've had to personally address so far, though. Between him going to the offensive line room and LaFleur going to Joe Barry, and LaFleur's done a better job on defense than offense this year, which is also concerning in its own way.
Yep. It's just like I'm glad the offensive line looked better than it did last week.
Yes. Yeah,
But
I think the personnel is fine there. I think that was probably the one silver lining on offense. I liked one other player we'll talk about, but that the personnel was okay. I think Washington just has a good defensive line, and that showed. But you also, I mean, you can't do 12 carries in a football game where you're never down than more than a score, or maybe they're down 10 points for a little bit, but you're never down big until the very end. You just can't give up on the run when you're the Green Bay Packers.
right. Looking at Twitter, I'm cackling because Zach Cruz tweeted on September 25th. I don't want to be the look ahead guy, but I'm gonna. Packers go Patriots, Giants, Jets, Commanders over the next 4. Real chance to go 6-1 heading into October 30th showdown against the Bills. Then he quote tweeted himself and asked Old Takes Exposed if it qualifies him for some award.
Oh man, we got Rodgers quotes.
He's wearing a trench coat with like freaking.
I thought it was a bathrobe. I thought it was a bathrobe.
Oh, it looks like a bathrobe.
I'm not worried about this squad. In fact, this might be the best thing for us.
Losing's great for you.
I mean, they're just not realistic.
No, they're not.
They're not realistic in whatever Lambeau Field's address is. In that building, they're not being realistic with themselves.
Lambeau. I'm sorry, not 1265 Lombardi Avenue. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
The Packers failed to convert a single third down for the first time since Week 6 of 1999.
I was a baby.
Yeah, it was Brett Favre versus Denver for the fans who may remember the game.
The fans, the real ones. If he's not concerned, he has some issues. 7 teams make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, 7 in each conference.
Week 1, or the first seed gets a bye. They play 6, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the new format.
Packers through the afternoon games on Sunday are 9th in the playoff standings in the NFC right now, behind the Rams, the Seahawks. Behind the Seahawks, and tied with the Falcons and the Commanders, who hold the tiebreaker. I guess not the Commanders, unless I guess they wins tiebreak over Arizona and Washington based on strength of victory. That's insane. I guess.
Oh, maybe it's because it's a multiplayer tie.
Oh, maybe.
So if they end up solo tied with Commanders, they'll lose that, obviously.
Would be so.
What a thing.
What a thing. But yeah, they're 9th in the playoff standings right now, and their schedule does not get easier, which we'll talk about a little bit later, just looking ahead. But let's talk about the run game. The run game drove me insane. They started with the run game. They do it every single week, and then they just abandon it again. Like, they started with the pitch to Jones for like 8 yards. That was the first play of the game. And they go away from it. And then, like,
the drives where they moved the ball. Guess who was the central figure involved in both?
The right Aaron
Jones. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, is AJ Dillon pissing people off in the building? Is Green Bay tourism stepping in and saying, "Hey, we don't need you to funnel everyone up to Door County. We need some people to stay here."
Right.
I don't know. He touched the ball 4 times.
And I just don't get it. I really don't. Like,
it's just bizarre. I mean, they're leading literally the whole first half, right? Yeah, because they took the lead, and then it was field goal, and then they held the lead from there.
Yep.
Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon should be pounding. And I understand it wasn't going that well, but you can't just go away from the run game when you're built to run the ball. It's like, it's so unforced. And it's just, and Dillon was the one finding more success. He averaged 3.8 yards a carry, which isn't great, but he was finding some room, and they just said, nope, we're good.
So here is the uh, post first half touchdown breakdown for the Packers like plays. They went um, pass incomplete to Romeo Doubs, and there was a holding. So that's 1st and 20. AJ Dillon runs for 7 yards. So like, okay, good. We're
Yeah.
2nd and 13. Incomplete pass to Romeo Doubs. Incomplete pass, or I'm sorry, completed pass to Aaron Jones for 7 yards, and then they punted. So like that penalty was like hindering them, but
Yep.
7 yard plays from the running backs. Okay.
Yep.
Then the next they went the pick six touchdown, like the pick six for the Packers, and then the Commanders touchdown, ensuing Packers drive. Aaron Jones, this is the play where he what got it handed off to him to go left and then hit a wall, went right, and then got Rodgers laid out.
Oh yeah.
-6 yards, so not an ideal
Not
play.
great. Not good.
But then Aaron Jones on the next play gets 6 yards, but then there's a holding on Josh Neiman, so that blows up that play. Short middle pass, incomplete, short middle pass, incomplete, punt. And then at the end of the half, they, or I'm sorry, there's a,
They didn't even try.
no,
They
hold
ran
on,
the ball once.
there's
And,
a different,
there's another.
there's another one I missed. So then Aaron Jones had a pass under for -5 yards. Again, this is a line of scrimmage behind the line of scrimmage pass, which we've been just talking about how they just need to throw the ball downfield. A pass incomplete to Alan Lazard, and there was a penalty on it. Defensive pass interference at DPI. Another offensive holding on Tunyon. Um, Lazard short pass, deep incomplete to Sammy Watkins, where he probably hurt his hamstring again because he looks like he blew a tire.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then incomplete pass to Dobbs. Nothing on the last 3 plays to the running backs. And then at the end of the half, to get out of the 1 yard line, 6 yards to AJ Dillon. Like, they are running the ball positively.
Did AJ Dillon touch the ball once in the second half then?
Let me just look quick. But what's so infuriating while I look is that they're running the ball for positive yardage. I'm going through Aaron Jones left end for 4 yards, like, and they just refuse to actually do anything with it.
They lost an AJ Dillon 8-yard reception because of one of their 2 illegal formation penalties in this game.
AJ Dillon left tackle for no gain. They touched the ball at least once, twice now, you're saying. And then, yeah, so twice in the second half. But the point being is that, and I'll go to, as my camera decides to unfocus. Cool, we're just going to try to, nope, all right, whatever. Aaron Nagler was like live tweeting the post-game press conference from Matt LaFleur. And I gotta find it quick, but it was.
There's a gem here I just got from Schneidman too.
Okay, you get it. I'll try and find this.
Nobody's going to give us a chance going to Buffalo on Sunday Night Football with a chance to get exposed. Shoot, this might be the best thing for us. Do you know, like, the football is played on the field. I know that you look forward more to Pat McAfee on Tuesday than Green Bay Packers on Sunday. And I know you want to win the media battle more than the football game. You got to win on the field. Nobody cares what people are saying going in. That shouldn't matter at all. Like, he's so invested in this. Who cares about the narrative? Go throw touchdowns.
No. How about your analysts and your analysis doesn't actually focus on the headlines, Ty, that they had good jobs or good catch by Aaron Jones. No one's focusing on that catch.
I just don't understand. Like,
regardless,
this is like the most bizarre. Like, he wants to be the underdog, but you think
he wants that chip on his shoulder so bad.
Because they've lost 3 games in a row where they were favored by multiple points. Like, you need to be the underdog to win football games. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's just very bizarre. It's a very bizarre thing to say.
Aaron Nagler, both Rodgers and LaFleur mentioning how much 2-shell the Commanders played. Guess what the best attack to 2-shell coverage is?
That would be running the football, I believe.
Running the football. Carrying the rock. Little hand egg action. No, and they just kept throwing it and short and short and short. I was happy. They had a couple passes in the middle of the field today. I think like maybe 5, 6. like designed passes like that. Like
Yeah.
the last one to Watkins on that, like the last drive. The I think it was Lazard over the middle. Like they were playing in the middle of the field in that 10 to 15 yard range I had mentioned on the preview pod with Jordan, to where like Rodgers, if you didn't know, Tyak, like Rodgers' passer rating in the middle of the field from 0 yards to 20 yards downfield in every quadrant except for the area. Think of where the Patriots guy had the pick six, that quadrant.
Yeah.
Except everywhere except for there.
The outright basically by the sideline.
Yep.
Yeah.
The 5 quadrants that make up from 0 to 10 and then 10 to 20,
Yeah.
he had like way above league average in accuracy and
Wow.
like passer rating.
Yeah.
Like if he's throwing 0 to 10 yards down the field in the center to left side, he has a great passer rating. And then if he's throwing 10 to 20 yards downfield all across the field, he has a great passer rating. They just don't freaking do it, and they weren't doing it enough this game. But they did it enough to where I can't be super mad at it. But if they're seeing two shell coverage, run the ball. Like
They
it's
also
simple.
it feels like they don't throw down the field until they have to.
No.
Like they run the ball a little more early, which is nice, but it feels like all of the passing game, and this is like usually like a drive or two drives, however many are scripted early. All the scripted stuff is just the junk underneath, and then it's like they have to throw it on the field, so they do. Run the ball and run actual. It feels like every time they do real play action, it works so well,
Yeah.
and they just don't do it.
They just don't. It used to be a Rodgers staple, was him doing play action and hiding the ball super well, like super casually, and then throwing a bomb to somebody. They
Yeah.
just can't. He just doesn't do it anymore. I don't know why. Like it's insanity.
I have receivers takes.
Go ahead. We can move on to receivers.
Unless you have more on Rodgers.
No,
But
I think
he's flawed. He's not an MVP guy.
he's flawed. He's not an MVP guy, and he's borderline sucking.
Yeah.
Like I don't care that the Bills are the Bills. Like I really don't. They're missing a lot of their secondary, and like yes, they're a very good defense. We aren't going to win,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it's an excuse to have an awful game. You know what I mean?
He's got to come out throwing down the field right away, and we can't see checkdowns for 3 series. You just can't spot Josh Allen that many points early.
Right. So like if he doesn't have a good game against the Bills, like I'm not even expecting them, like I said, to win. But 2 touchdowns, like 150, 200 yards, like that'd be good. That'd be a good game for Rodgers this season. But if he doesn't, he stinks.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got up around 200 yards this game, but again, it was mostly check downs.
And his accuracy was horrendous. He kept throwing. There was
Amari Rodgers.
That's a.
It was borderline.
Yep, but the one I was talking about is he was underthrowing everybody on the Dobbs drop. The cameras caught him saying like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah.
And the answer, Aaron, is you are throwing the ball low and not hitting your receivers in stride to where they can actually make a play on the ball.
He's got a hot dog costume on out there, man.
He sure does.
We're all trying to find the guy who's underthrowing and overthrowing every receiver. It's just the gall he has. I know. I don't believe it. He's throwing 2 good balls per 60 minutes out here yelling at everyone. What do you do? What do you mean? You got 1 good ball per quarter. The rest of them, you're throwing at guys' feet at the line of scrimmage, cursing up a storm, throwing the surface. Like, okay, man, whatever.
I'm cackling that you went per 60.
That's the game. You get 60 minutes of football.
We're going to be extrapolating per 120 for Rodgers in like 2 weeks.
The numbers got to keep going up to sound reasonable. He's thrown 10 good balls per 300 this year.
Yeah, apparently. All right. Receivers.
Allen Lazard's not a number 1.
Nope.
Between not getting separation, the drops, and I think that's something I really underrated going in. He can't stay on the field. And that's just a problem. You can't rely on him. I think Dobbs this game, a mix of, again, some of the similar issues as well, not getting good balls, but, he's not creating enough separation. He had a drop. He, still could have probably caught at least 1 or 2 of those balls that were thrown poorly to him. My hot receiver take, I'm ready for more number 8.
They,
Amari Rodgers is making some hay out there
it's
2 weeks in a row.
so weird, dude.
He's
Like
much better. He's a much
they
better
need
receiver
to
than returner.
what they need to do is get him actually playing if he's going to actually make positive plays like this.
Yeah.
Whether he's making plays or the defense is giving him plays is something you need to see with more playing time. But
Yeah.
like the biggest issue is that like if Amari Rodgers is the one making big plays in your receiving room, what in the world is going
Hey,
on at the
hey,
front of
hey,
that
hey,
receiving
hey,
room?
hey. With where we're at, I'm not even going to ask questions anymore. I want him lined up. I want him as one of the 3 wide receivers next week, no matter who's everyone's
Right.
hurt anyway.
I
But
th-
just give that guy a chance. I want to see it throw 10 balls his way, see
right.
if he continues to generate space. We know he's fast because when he can
Right.
actually field a kick, he can run if he doesn't fair catch or fumble it. And like seriously, real question, since Christian Watson first play of the season where he dropped it. When's the last time a Packer got open on a streak like that for the one that was a little over Amari Rodgers?
The answer is none.
Aaron Jones, I mean, he got it on the streak. He was pretty tightly covered. He just made the damn play, and
Yeah.
it wasn't that deep down the field. I mean, he made separation. He brought in the ball. I mean, again, it was a catchable ball. Would have been a really like laid out, straightforward catch. That's not easy for anyone. But I just thought he gives them a spark when he's out there as a wide receiver.
Yeah, it's insane. I
He gives
regarding
the other team a spark when he's out there as a kick returner. But I digress.
they need Christian Watson healthy so that he can return kicks because Amari Rodgers clearly can't do it.
No,
Like
you'd be better to just send someone up, like send Randall Cobb or whatever, and just fair catch every kick.
yeah, essentially just send out anybody who can just for sure catch the ball.
Yeah,
Um, for Alan Lazard, I think we all hoped preseason that he'd be able to make that jump and become the wide receiver one that we really want him to develop into. He's just not. He can't handle the top cornerback each week,
no,
and he's not getting separation. And like you said, he can't stay on the field. Like he missed game one with an injury, and he comes off like on off the field kind of every game, depending on what he
yeah,
tweaks that week.
yeah.
And this week he was off the field for the final couple drives again for I don't know what he hurt, but it's it's sad, and I wish he was able to be a number one wide receiver, but he can't.
No,
It's
it's yeah, and I think Dobbs
Dobbs
could be.
I think he's hit a wall. I think he's hit the rookie
Yeah,
wall.
yeah. I mean, I mean, it's like.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying he's ever going to be this level of player, but again, you go back to Devontae Adams, who really struggled early. I mean, it's just
yep,
there are some guys who come into the league and dominate right away. They typically aren't drafted in the fourth round, right? Like
yep,
it's a lot. It's a lot to put on him. Even his current role of basically being the number two. I mean, that's a lofty. I mean, everyone they're asking too much of everyone because they just
they
don't
are.
have the top end talent.
Yep,
But especially, you just can tell he's not all the way, not ready yet.
nope. And like he's shown flashes, and he's in the old Alan Lazard role now. That if he has a true number one receiver on his
Yeah,
other side, he probably looks a lot better because
yeah.
he doesn't have that much attention being paid to him. But now that both Lazard and Dobbs can't get anything going, they're just spinning their wheels.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
I think especially for the younger, I mean, even Lazard too is far from proven as that level of receiver. It's not easy to build confidence when there's just so few dynamic passing plays happening in general. Even not their faults. I mean, they're not getting open anyway, and I
yeah,
guess it's kind of their fault. But the ball's not going downfield. I mean, if you're not making plays, you said it well. Just spinning their wheels. Looks like the offense and especially those receivers are just stuck in the mud out there.
yeah, it's bad. And it hurts losing Cobb too, like that's part of it. And Christian Watson being hurt, like it's really hard to have the offense be as good as you want it to be
Yeah,
when you're missing Christian Watson, you're missing Randall Cobb, and that's two rookies. Like, and obviously Dobbs is a rookie, but it's not Randall Cobb. But it's just hard to get it going. This really is starting to feel like a gap year for the Packers, which is not
that's the best case
acceptable.
at this point.
Yeah, it's not acceptable though. Like they can't.
Yeah.
I really don't want to go like super doom and gloom. But like,
Yeah.
at which point do you just start playing Jordan Love and
Well, if Rodgers is still going to talk about this dumb, don't play him against Buffalo because they have like 10 good defensive linemen. They
Yeah.
shuffle them in and out all game. And it kind of sucks for Jordan Love, who's probably going to get beat up a bit. But
Right.
I think I was thinking about that. They invest $50 million annually in quarterback, and then a first round pick in their backup quarterback 2 years ago. One of them should be ready to play and be able to get the ball downfield and move the ball. Like
Right.
that's a lot of resources on both guys in their own ways. And I mean, I don't know if anyone maybe needs this reminder, but would a T. Higgins or Michael Pittman Jr. look good out there right now?
Probs.
The two receivers drafted right after Jordan Love in the 2020 NFL draft in the early second round. I mean, I know Packer fans are tired of hearing about it. I get it. It happened. It's done. Like, what was the point? I know Rodgers playing well for 2 years changed the calculus. I don't know, man. It just looks like a all around fumbling and just being way too reactive and not proactive enough in how they manage these assets.
Yeah, they tried to put the cart before the horse.
And then went back on it because Rodgers played so well.
Yeah.
But then lost Tay and really it felt like they really leaned into, okay, he's so good. He'll be able to just make the offense work. And it's just not the case.
They really thought when they gave him his extension this offseason, right?
No, we got 4 more MVP seasons.
Yep. And that has not been what's happening.
No.
And whether that's weapons, I disagree. Like, he's been bad.
I think it's all tied together, but I think it's even more insane to trade away Devontae Adams and only draft 2 rookies to basically and bring in Sammy. Oh no, they already had Sammy. No, they brought in Sammy to replace. Whichever way, Sammy Watkins and 2 rookies. Like you need to give your aging quarterback help, even if you think he is going to be an MVP.
Yep.
But also relying on a 38, 39, 40, 41-year-old or whatever it's going to be to be that good the whole time and carry this group was just pretty, and I think we kind of bought the Kool-Aid too, but it is pretty presumptuous.
Right. I'd hate this quote from Zach Tom.
Oh boy.
Did
not expect Zach Tom to have a quote that would inspire any emotion.
It's not a good emotion. And it doesn't have to do about him. It's good for him, bad for others. Excuse me. Zach Tom said he got first, this is from Ryan Wood. Zach Tom said he got first team left tackle reps this week, but he added he gets first team left tackle reps every week. He knows he always has to be on alert. Quote, pretty much any week with Dave, you just know that the knee, anything can happen. This is really no different than any other week. Don't like that he's taking first week reps or first team reps every week because they are not knowing if Bakhtiari is going to go ever.
So that goes to, again, the idea of don't move these guys around and just keep them because that's where they're prepping. What else did you read now? I see you're even more sour.
Jair Alexander. It's not much panic in my eyes or in my voice. Every dog have their day. I'm still the best. Hey, I already know that, so you just gotta lean on your craft.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess he had a fine game, but he was way better last week. And
but I think at corner you kind of have to just be insane and just be like, I'm the guy.
I agree, but it's just
it's annoying. It annoys me, but I don't know. I think the cornerback receivers have to just be maniacs about it.
Yep, that's fair enough.
But the defense is, I mean, the offense is terrible. The defense isn't good enough to win games with a terrible offense, is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Defense looks worse than it is, but also Packers had a decently long drive. I know it doesn't look like it in time of possession, but it was all those penalties. Like real time, they were off the field for a while on their last touchdown drive. The defense had the rest, man. Like, go stop Taylor Heineke, make a turnover. Like, it would have been sort of 3 in that game, 2 that counted, or just get a 3 and out, and they couldn't do it. Again, I think it's more on the upfront play than the secondary and the linebackers, but they're a good defense. I don't think they're a great defense.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Quay Walker led the team in tackles this week. 13.
He's flying around there.
5 solo tackles.
He's not. I know his run defense has not been seen as ideal.
I'm fine with him being bad in some places, like run defense. Like, he's a rookie.
It seems he's faster than he is strong.
Yeah, he's getting a rookie. He's a rookie getting first team reps. And being forced to start. Like, I'm willing to let the first round pick, who's being better than his other teammate first round pick,
Yeah.
have some sore spots when he's playing well in other spots. Like again, you don't become Vontae Davis as Aaron Jones likened him to him in your first 6 games, 7 games. It
Yeah,
takes it.
they gotta stop with comps, dude.
Yeah, I
Come on.
like, but like I think like the way Quay plays is what led Aaron Jones to say that because like he does fly around like that, but you don't become that caliber player overnight. I think he could
No.
track to that if everything goes perfectly to plan, but we won't know that for a couple years.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of tackles today, which is I guess a sentence I could say. Devondre Campbell with 12 tackles, Rasul Douglas and Adrian Amos with 10, but I don't know,
Devondre
man.
Campbell was their most productive player by yards outside of
Don't want to
Rodgers.
talk about it.
63 yards, more than any receiver. I guess total yards Jones had him. Jones had
Barely.
76 between rushing and receiving. So Devondre has to settle for number 2 in Packers who move the ball.
Just bad. Just not a good week of Packer football. Ty,
No.
is there anything else to touch on?
Whew. You think they're selling?
Not yet. I think because looking at the standings, like we had talked about, um, the 7 seed is very in play for um for them. Like the 1 through 4 are always division winners.
Yeah.
Like,
So
and so
you go into probably they might end up going into Minnesota.
yep. So
Very
the
possible because the South is a mess. The West is not looking the best.
right, but right now the division winners are the Eagles, the
Yep.
Vikings, the Niners, and
Yep.
the Cowboys. And then seeds 5 and 6 are the Giants and the Cowboys, and seventh is the Rams, followed by the Seahawks, then the Packers. Seahawks are playing right now.
I think you said Cowboys twice.
Sorry,
Did you mean Buccaneers for the South?
yes, my
Yeah,
apologies.
yeah.
Eagles, Vikings, Niners, Bucks,
Yep.
Giants, Cowboys, Rams is the playoff standings right now. And so the Rams are 3-3. They play, I think, tonight, or they're playing right now. No, they're playing. Maybe I'm by. I forget. Whatever their deal is. They go to the Rams. I think they go to LA and play the Rams. They can beat the Rams. I believe this. Like if they actually change some of their well,
I'm out. I don't think they're better than any of the teams you said that are above them in the standings.
the only thing that makes me confident they can go beat the Rams is the Rams aren't good either this year.
Fair, but
Like Stafford's looking like Stafford of Detroit era Stafford than last year era Stafford. And it's partially because he's hurt and got a little injury problems, but they don't look good.
no.
Like they look pretty. They're selling Cam Akers is where they're at.
Well, I don't think that's a. I think there's something going on there. I don't think they're
Right.
trying to sell off pieces.
Regardless,
They're gonna add some
the
a Pro
loss
Bowl level guy at some point
the
this year.
loss
They
of
always
Von
do.
Miller hurt them way more than they thought they would.
Yeah, because now teams just send 3 to Aaron Donald, and the rest of the guys don't do anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think they could. It'd be a blessing if they could, but that's getting way ahead of ourselves. Um, I guess
No,
let's talk.
the other issue with selling is before real quick. I don't know. I mean, obviously you can't trade Rodgers now because of the contract.
Yep.
They have some guys, but it's kind of like a DJ Moore thing, which maybe the Panthers will trade him anyway. But or no, it's more like Brian Burns. It's like you're not going to trade Jair, right? You're not going to trade guys like that. So
You're
I
not
just don't
trading.
know.
You're not trading Jair. You're not trading Devondre. You're not trading Razul.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any of that.
Well,
Nope.
I think Razul is the most likely.
He had a great game this week.
No, it's not because he's bad. It's because he's older and he has value, and
Right.
it's one of those
Oh,
things where
and even
like
then,
I'm saying selling like okay, we're gonna start Jordan Love for 8 games,
right.
12, heal that thumb. Let's get some picks and really try and retool on the fly. The gap year idea.
Yeah, I think you don't get high enough picks for that
Probably not.
to make worth because like the only way you're trading Razul is if you get like first or seconds back because like
Yeah.
otherwise you're expecting to retool your team with thirds and fourths, and that's not going to work.
No.
And so unless you're trying to then trade those threes and fours to get another first round pick and a player, I don't know, but you see my point.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what my point is. Like, I don't think there's that many guys you can clearly sell for high picks that you could use right away to help the
Right.
team.
That capital was Devontae Adams, and it turned into Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, good point.
um, looking ahead, the Packers go to Buffalo this coming week, and then at Detroit, and then they're home versus Dallas and Tennessee. Buffalo is the only game I'm truly writing off.
Hmm.
Like the Amron Ross St. Brown is concussed
Yeah, the
this week.
Lions have fallen apart.
Yeah, it makes me sad. Makes me sad.
Yeah.
Um, but that's in Detroit. They've had trouble playing Detroit the last few years, so we'll see. But then at home versus Dallas, McCarthy returning could be a game they get up for if they need to get up for a game. Like if they need reasons to get up for a game, that could be one.
I think, is that going to be the first?
Yes.
That's got to be no, not that. I think this is going to be the most dynamic defense they've gone up against all year. Well, I guess Buffalo will be up there. It depends how healthy they are.
Oh, the Dallas defense.
But yeah, like Micah Parsons,
Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs, like the playmakers they have, that game. I mean, I think they'll get up for McCartney, but I could see that game getting ugly with the Dallas defense.
Right.
And the way they've been running the ball last week or so with Zeke and Tony Pollard, that's the way the Packers defend the run. We'll see. That's a prove it game to me. Their fourth consecutive prove it game, and they've lost the last three, but a prove it game nonetheless.
Right. I'm for some reason drinking Kool-Aid. I'm drinking copium Kool-Aid.
You're all in. I don't think the Cowboys are that good either, but
Right. I'm looking at the schedule and I see like definitely losses in there,
yeah.
but oh,
Who's after Cowboys?
Titans.
Yeah, Tannehill just went out. Wasn't doing that great this year. Malik Willis, I think, is kind of a work in progress. We'll
Imagine
see.
the absolute train Derrick Henry's going to run on a run defense.
Oh yeah. Who's after Titans?
Eagles is a loss at Eagles.
Oh yeah.
So that's two for sure.
Yeah.
This is like the best case scenario.
Yeah, so we're at 6 losses then. So then what's after Eagles?
Bears in Chicago,
Let's win.
please.
We'll see.
Then at home versus LA. My apologies from earlier.
Oh yeah, it's not
They,
in
they,
LA.
they have a bye week after the Bears, and then
Okay, so
home against LA.
then they should really have a chance to get that Rams game.
Yep. At Miami on Christmas
That's
Day.
tough. That's tough.
Yep.
Good team, especially if they can get healthy.
Yep. And then they finish with at home versus Minnesota, at home versus Detroit.
Yeah, I mean they should still be able to get 10 wins.
Yeah. Which would feel horrendous for this
Actually,
season.
I don't know. I take that back.
7 wins. It would be Detroit, Dallas, Tennessee, the Bears, Rams, Dolphins,
I take that back.
Vikings, and Detroit. So if they win all of the games that aren't the Bills and the Eagles, they'll have 11.
No shot.
I agree.
No shot they're doing that.
I agree. But 9 and 8 might get you a playoff spot, depending on how bad the Rams finish their season, depending on if the Seahawks can maintain the pace they're on, depending on if the Cowboys can maintain the pace they're on. Like,
I think the Lions and Bears. Oh, the Bears have played some okay football recently. The Lions seem to be really falling apart. The two Lions games helps, but they've played fake football teams and to get some of those wins. I mean, the Buccaneers with no receivers, and right now the Bucs look cooked. Like Brady does not look very good, and they lost some important pieces. The Bears, again, just we're not running a functional offense. Like, and then the Pats barely with Bailey Zappi in there. We're talking about the like 50-50 games. We're talking about like capable NFL teams, which
right.
I think is more or less what they played the last 3 weeks, and they haven't gotten a single win.
Mm-hmm.
I think 9 wins right now is uphill, like deeply uphill.
Oh no, I definitely agree. Like they need a definite turnaround in all facets of their game to even sniff 9-10 wins. But if they do, they could put themselves in a position to actually make the playoffs. But even then, I don't really think I want them to make the playoffs because I don't feel like watching a game that doesn't mean anything to me.
At least it wouldn't. I was gonna say, yeah. At least it probably wouldn't be a heartbreaker game.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think, like obviously, literally, they're not out of the playoffs. I mean, they have three. They're 3-4. There's a lot of games left, but just the way they're playing, they look. I don't know. They need to turn it around, as we've said.
Right.
Even some of the early wins outside of the Bears one, it's been like, oh, a win is a win is a win. They look terrible, but they did it, and
That
that turns
that's
out playing like that is not good in the long run.
I agree. Like I think that is part of the poor ideology that LaFleur and Rodgers have had the past few years is that they're not going to complain about wins, when in reality you really should be taking a fine tooth comb to every single one of your wins and seeing why you won so close or what worked as to why it succeeded. But when they
Every game, period.
right, exactly. And
Yeah,
like they seem to think that just because they won, they can be like, oh, we'll just trot back out the same game plan as next week. When
yeah.
that obviously doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I just not to go all full Bucks, but I just think of like, when has Bud ever been happy with the way the Bucks played? They
Right.
won a championship, like they're great in the regular season, and you see him just like ripping out his remaining hair over, Jordan wore a defensive miscue when they're up 18 against the Rockets. It's just
Right.
like I think that's how all coaches kind of have to operate. I mean, you don't need to rip your hair out, but you always need to be working on everybody getting better because that's what all the other teams are doing. So even
Right.
if you start off better, you won't remain that way if you don't have that attitude. Yeah, the Packers organizational ethos quotes this year, out once the defense stuff soured when they haven't played as well, have just been very annoying for the most part. A lot of what they say is annoying.
Yeah. Strong
Every
agree.
week, LaFleur with the I can't believe we didn't run the ball more. It's like I want to talk about one more. I know I just keep prattling, but the 4th and 1.
Yeah, I
And
go
they
ahead. I
just
know what
keep
you're gonna
doing
say.
this. They just keep doing this. They every single time it's probably an option, shotgun play. Should have been okay. It was one you talked about way back when, the Romeo Dobbs where he had it and it gets knocked incomplete. If you're, I know people will blame Aaron Rodgers, and it was a fine throw. I mean, the decision is why. You are the head coach of the football team. Don't call the option. Call a under center running play. There's no option there. If he wants to audible away from that at the line, I think that would be a very obvious thing. If you want to make him put him in that position, fine. Then we can talk about Rodgers. But I feel like Matt LaFleur is ducking a lot of criticism because it's all going to Rodgers, which
Yeah.
is fair. I am not defending Rodgers. $50 million player who is getting outplayed by Taylor Heineke in football games. Like, it's fair to criticize Rodgers, but people are putting all of the offense stuff on Rodgers.
Hmm.
Hand the ball to A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones under center and just go straight up. Those guys will get a yard. And I don't care if they've been running poorly. It's just insane to me that it feels like every game there is a third or fourth or both and one, and those guys don't touch the football. Like, how many times does this have to fail for the message to get through? And every week it's the same. Yeah, I can't believe we didn't do that. And Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon have to sit there like, yeah, I think we probably could have gotten a yard. I don't know. We're kind of good. It's just stupid.
We've tried nothing. We're all out of ideas.
It's just wild to me. It really does remind me of like some of the old Bucks 3-point shooting defense stuff. Or, I know there's been a million Packers examples too.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
I know. I just don't get how you have the two. You've wanted a running game style offense as long as you've been a coach of the Packers, Matt LaFleur,
Yep.
and you have the opportunity to do it, and you don't
Yeah.
when you need to.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like if LaFleur was like Andy Reid, right? It was like, we want to do air raid and we're just going to pass the ball. I'd say fine. Put Rodgers in shotgun 5 wide on those situations, but they didn't build the roster for that. They built the roster around running backs. If you had 4 great receivers, go ahead, throw the ball. I don't care. You live with that.
Right.
But it's just like organizationally, like they build to do one thing and they don't do it, and they wonder why the offense doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Weird.
Okay, I think I've talked enough. Anything else you have? I'll let you go. But I had a lot of rants for this one.
I get it. I'm right there with you. Like I've been ranting about it on every single podcast. That's why I'm to freaking run the ball.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's simple, and they just don't. That's why I said last week everything in the press conference is smoke and fucking mirrors, because
Yeah.
they said last week we're going to run the ball, or 2 weeks ago we're going to run the ball more. Got to run the ball more. Then they don't. Then they said this week, got to simplify the offense. They didn't simplify it. They kept doing really poor things like on offense. It didn't look any different. It didn't look any different. So like,
and the sniping too with Rodgers, we need to simplify. LaFleur, I don't even know what that means.
yeah, it's
Just can you guys just sit down and figure your shit out and not do it through the press conferences?
Yeah, it's stupid. No, but couple things to go through before
Yeah.
I get into it. Ty, can you check to see if we have a review?
Ooh, I will right now.
Chartable is broken for me. But while Ty looks for that review, if you've been watching on the YouTube, you might have noticed a little decorations in my background. A little talk of the tundra. Oop, I scooted the wrong way in the chair. We are going to scoot back the other way. Little flag going on. These are available at the merch store on gspn.info. The flag is wonderful. I'm going to get it properly hung sooner or later. I am wearing a t-shirt with the Talk of the Tundra logo on it. If I can learn how to operate a camera and turn towards it, that'd be great. There we go. Talk of the Tundra. I got a sweatshirt that has, if I go to scoot again, the facade on the front of it, on the back, and Talk of Tundra logo on the back. Stickers.
Oh, a facade.
A facade.
No specific facade.
Right. Precisely a facade right here.
Could be any facade.
Could be any facade. To go through the merch store, there's a bunch of things Taco Tundra wise. So you'll be seeing that stuff soon.
Soon.
Feel free to buy some when we drop it. I took a couple teaser photos. Those get dropped on Twitter.
Yep.
Hated every single second of it. But
yeah. Follow at Numac is known. Don't miss that.
That's right. So we appreciate you guys and all your support every week. And thank you for listening and all the our rage behind this game as Packers lose their third straight. Ty, do we have a review?
No, we need the folks to leave some more reviews, make that support audible and make Numac read your sometimes very strange messages.
Yes, sometimes very strange. That is for certain. But alrighty, folks. Appreciate all of you listening. We'll be back again with another preview pod with Jordan on Thursday. This time previewing what should be a gruesome Packers-Bills game. So, but as
the preview
for now,
should just be 59 minutes on the Bills. Just enjoy a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it for us this week. Ty, buddy. Thanks for joining me.
Numac, thank you.